Hey, REDBET here. We're going to be doing a video on sprint racing in MotoGP. Like Formula One, they're adding sprint racing to the MotoGP season. What is sprint racing, you ask? Will Usain Bolt be getting his 6'4" frame under Ducati? Nope. Just a reminder to like and subscribe. We're trying to build up subscribers. Like and subscribe. This is a separate race from the main race on Sundays. This is something MotoGP wants to do to drum up interest. As there's a free day of practice on Friday, now every race day will be valuable to fans and broadcasters. Saturday will not just be qualifying and practice sessions anymore. There will be a sprint race to end Saturday's race. This will be at every race weekend in MotoGP. They'll be held on Saturdays at 3 p.m. That will not affect the rider's position for the Sunday's main race. MotoGP is one of the most thrilling and exciting forms of motorcycle racing in the world. The sport features some of the best riders from around the globe who compete at high-speed, high-stake events that push them to the limits of their physical and mental abilities. One of the most exciting formats of MotoGP could be the sprint race, but it's to be seen. The sprint race is a short and intense format of race that takes place and is held on the same weekend as the main race. So here's a quick breakdown of sprint race facts. The distance is half of the GP race. Points, half of those awarded in the GP race. Only the top 9 scorers of the sprint will be awarded points. The sprint race point scale will be 12 points for the winner, down to 9 to the second, and so on, up down to the 9th place person. The sprint race will have no effect on the starting grid on Sunday's Grand Prix. The Grand Prix winner, podiums, and fastest race laps continue to be counted towards the main race. There will be separate statistics for podiums, wins, and fastest laps for sprint races. So we're just going to show you a breakdown of from 1 to 9th place, how the points break down. Friday's practice sessions are longer and used to determine the direct entrance in Q2. So Friday's not just a free practice day anymore. You want to have a good practice run to have a great spot on the grid for Q2 and the sprint. The sprint race is a high-octane, adrenaline-fueled event where the riders give their all. They'll be able to push the machines to the limit, knowing that they don't have to conserve energy for a longer race. The short distance of the sprint race means the riders must start fast and maintain a high pace and be aggressive throughout the race. Sprint race not only provides a thrilling spectacle to fans, but it also adds a new dimension to the main race, as riders have to now get prepared for the Saturday sprint race on top of the Sunday Grand Prix. The sprint race also gives fans a taste of what is to come for the main race and help build anticipation and excitement for the main event. Here's what some of the riders had to say about sprint racing in MotoGP. Alex Marquez said, "I think the races will be positive. I don't know if it's a good idea for the first year in all the courses, but I think it will raise the show. For all the riders, the weekend will be more intense, it will be different, and we will have to train this in the preseason and know how to manage it." Fabio Quartararo had to say, "For me, the race takes place on Sunday. To be honest, we riders haven't been asked about it at all. I think that with all the work we already do in the view of the race on Sunday, this addition would complicate things a lot. I think this choice doesn't make sense. With 21 Grand Prix, there would be too many races. It's stupid." Why is MotoGP adding sprints to the race weekend? They want to add fans to the sport. Simple. They need it. Attendance is down at Silverstone and in Italy last year. Viewing numbers have seen a colossal drop in the number of people tuning in since the move from free-to-air to pay-per-view across most of their markets. F1, most of their markets are free-to-air, so many F1 fans can watch races without having to enjoy them behind a paywall. I know that in North America it's difficult to find MotoGP races, whereas Formula One is on ESPN or other local broadcast channels, which most homes have as part of their cable package. The MotoGP viewing numbers are low, while Formula One numbers have continued to rise, especially with the rise of the new Netflix series Drive to Survive, which has drawn many new fans to Formula One. Sprint racing will hopefully fix those woes by giving more value to those considering attending races. 2 premier class races, one Saturday while qualifying in the morning on Saturday, 2 should be spectacular day of viewing, and Sunday will still have the main event, which adds up to a far more interesting proposition to fans at the track. The real issue that MotoGP is facing right now, bigger than anything else, is turning uninterested people into new fans. With numbers down from broadcasting and people attending racing, they're trying new things to add more interest to the sport. So what do I think of sprint racing? A big fat no! Well, at least just not at every race weekend. MotoGP is by far one of the most dangerous motorsports. Now you have extra sessions which could lead to more injured riders. Along with the increased pressure on teams that they have to get bikes ready for an additional sprint race, there are 21 full race weekends for 2023. This is too much in my opinion. F1 is only doing sprint races at 6 races in 2023, not the entire season. MotoGP has suffered in viewing since the retirement of Valentino Rossi. They could eliminate aerodynamic wings or ban some of the ride height devices. Also, you could end up with 2 boring races instead of 1. I understand MotoGP trying to draw in new fans, but it sounds a little rushed, a little ill-conceived. Add it slowly, not at every race weekend, maybe half the season, maybe even 8 races, but that's not every race. Also, if a top rider such as Quartararo, Peccobagnaia, or Jackmiller get injured doing a sprint, I could see them ending sprint racing or reducing the amount of sprints during the season. There are millions of dollars invested in these bikes and riders. Manufacturers do not want their season ending up with a guy getting a broken wrist or a broken leg from a sprint race, ending the championship hopes of a top rider at Ducati or Honda. We have seen riders out for many months just from crashing in practice. This is another high-speed event where riders are not just coasting to the finish line. Well, sprint racing could be an exciting and intense format and racing that adds a new dimension to the main event. It could showcase the riders' speed and skill, determination, and providing fans with a thrilling spectacle. Will it be enough to bring back new fans? Motorcycle racing can grow, but it needs to be careful not to lose what fan base it has left. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the little look we had at sprint racing. There will be more racing videos in the future on the channel. REDBET signing off.